Today we're discussing game changes. I wasn't going to make this video since there's already a Politics and More podcast for that, but it seems they have gone a while without uploading. 7 months is a long time, and if the previous episode is anything to go by, we'll be waiting another 6 years. Rest in peace, PNW podcast. I promise to only dance on your grave this one time. Fortunately, the admin and the development team are still making forum posts unveiling new changes. We'll be relying on them for information throughout the rest of this video. So, what are the upcoming changes? The stuff we should be imminently worried about or overjoyed by. Alliance embargoes. Nations can currently embargo other nations and alliances, but this doesn't really do anything, since there's thousands of other people they can trade with. Alliance embargoes would affect hundreds or thousands of players, and might spice up the game's politics. I fully expect to be embargoed by most of the major alliances, though joke's on them because I don't use the market. Our alliance has a closed economy that would make North Korea blush. Trade limitations. Soon you won't be able to trade as many resources and post as many trade offers. Alex pays a lot of attention to the market, the distribution of resources, and inflation. He's probably doing this to prevent someone abusing the market with spam or to reduce the number of resources in circulation, and decrease inflation. I used my alliance to spam the market a couple of years ago and make a pretty good profit. This is going to make that much harder, but not impossible. The market still only has 400 trades, and 100 people posting 3 trades is still enough to mess with it. Leader names instead of nation names. Almost everything in the game uses nation names except for Messenger and Alliance Manager. For whatever reason, Alex decided to switch everything from nation names to leader names, and it's causing a lot of chaos. Alliances have trained their bureaucracies, tools, and habits around nation names, so this is affecting them the worst. A couple of alliances have even sent random nations billions in cash and resources by accident. With all that said, this is still a good idea, and within 6 months then everyone will find it much more convenient. New projects. Prefontaine's area of the game. The Metropolitan Planning Project, the latest in the urban planning series of projects. By investing a huge amount of resources, then you can make your cities cheaper. Unfortunately, it's super expensive, so only a few alliances are able to grant it. It's funny that a project that was designed to help new players catch up to the older ones is instead only being bought by older players, and by alliances that have a ton of extra wealth. The Military Salvage Project. When you declare an attack and are victorious, you'll recover 5% of lost steel and aluminum from units that died in the attack. This just seems like a huge risk. The cost of the project doesn't matter as much as the project slot itself. I feel like there's a lot of better projects out there, so this isn't going to be a must-buy. It'll probably only be bought by like really large nations. The Fallout Shelter Project. It reduces damage from nuclear missiles by 10%, reduces fallout length in a city by 25%, and it caps maximum radiation in that nation at 90%. This is going to be the worst project in the game. Even the VDS, the Vital Defense System, has a 20% chance of just stopping the nuke altogether and saving you money. These bonuses are terrible, and you will literally never see a return on investment. People do not get nuked this much. They don't even get hit by missiles this much. And there's no point making food when radiation is at 90%. You would be better served by just producing raw resources. There's also a bunch of quality of life changes which are overall fantastic. What about the potential changes? The stuff that is on the horizon, that isn't quite there yet. Well, there was meant to be a test server tournament in the second half of June to test out the following ideas of what they want to do, but it didn't happen. The last tournament was really bad, so I guess it doesn't matter too much, and people have been discovering some of these mechanics just by experimenting on the test server. The Beige rework. When your nation loses a war, you are moved to Beige for 2 days and you cannot be attacked. This can stack multiple times if you lose lots of wars. When you get at least 6 days of Beige, you can rebuild your military and counterattack your opponents, and possibly win. The alliance winning the war manipulates the system to avoid this. They let the wars expire rather than winning them. However, the development team thinks it's stupid for the winners of an alliance war to be expiring all of their wars instead of winning them. So they've been looking at how to change this for a very long time, and there's been several proposals. One of the proposals is that whoever has the lowest resistance in a war loses it when the war expires. This basically guarantees the loser 6 days of beige in alliance wars and allows them to counterattack. Don't get excited just yet though, because they've also made it so that when you lose a war, you automatically peace with any opponents offering a truce. In the current system, it takes 5 days to expire wars. In this new system, then someone could win the war in 1.8 days, and all your other enemies could offer peace. You'd be moved to beige for 2 days for losing the war, but that's all. That'd be a total of 3.8 days of fighting and peacing with just those opponents. So if your opponents are clever, this beige rework will allow your enemies to attack you more often and do more damage. Another thing to consider is that you can break blockades with this as well, making it much harder to steal alliance banks. A tutorial rework. There is a server for this, but not much progress has been made. The little tutorial cards that appear on the test server also seem like a step backwards from the pre-existing tutorial, which is saying something. Baseball changes. A player named Black is Light created a series of scripts and extensions which make baseball much easier to play and profit with. Rather than hoard them for their alliance, they open sourced them, which was a very nice thing to do. In response, the development team is cracking down on baseball and making it much less profitable. What really sucks about this is that baseball is one of the few catch-up mechanics that still exists. If you invest in baseball and grind games, then you can make 2 mil or 10 mil a day. That's a pretty small number for big nations that gain that passively every day, but it's a lot for a small nation. And it's not like free money is really the problem, since they've just replaced baseball with rewarded ads. Rewarded ads earn the game slightly more money and offer player the same rewards as baseball. They're just 10 times as annoying. And we'll end this with a reflection on recent changes. So, the new alliance positions system. I've requested this for ages, and it was a good addition to the game. Alliances are increasing their governments and trusting members with more responsibilities. The score change. The score you get from each city after City 1 has been reduced from 100 to 75. This change just served to increase war ranges. Overall, it's a terrible change that made larger nations capable of bullying nations half their size. End of Fate, the Fear, and a number of other alliances are going around and attacking alliances with smaller nations that literally cannot fight back. The treasure trading system. Treasures spawn on random nations and provide a % bonus to their nation and alliance's revenue. When you lost a war, the treasure was taken by the victor. Rather than fight over the treasures like we were all supposed to, the big alliances just paid a lot of money for people to intentionally lose the wars. The treasure trading system just means we don't have to lose wars to sell treasures. Treasures are just the lottery now. The Government Support Agency project. This improves domestic policy effects by 50%. This project isn't a must-buy, but I feel it is really good and sort of underestimated right now. The Research and Development Center. This project just gives you an extra project slot. This seems like it would be very useful in specific circumstances, a very situational project. The Resource Production Center. This is a must-buy project for everyone under City 15, and it's so cheap it might as well be free. This just gives new players and alliances with more game knowledge another advantage. The monthly credit redemption limit is going to increase from 10 to 20. In my mind, this is meaningless. People already redeem credits on other people's nations in order to avoid the credit limit. There are players that have literally spent thousands of dollars on this game to spawn in billions of dollars in a single month. Raising this limit is ironically just allowing the average player to donate more and catch up to those spending thousands. Personally, I don't think it's worth donating to the game just because you can produce so much money just as an individual nation that you wouldn't actually get that much extra by donating. And there's a new dark theme. So the last I saw of this, which was a few weeks ago, it was really bad. It was not an improvement, it was just really bad. If you want a good one, there are some on the forums using the Chrome extension stylus. So you can customize them. You can have red themes, green themes, blue themes. Have some fun with it. Yep, so I hope this makes you look forward to some changes and be rightfully concerned about others. And like, subscribe, leave a comment with your thoughts on the projects, and